How to create a diversion. When you are in a situation that basically demands you to divert attention from what is actually goes on, you have to be really confident in your strategy, and you have to be aware of the potential in a fallout when the truth comes out. Now, this could be a tricky situation, depending on who you are, depending on the situation in itself. Really dictates what type of diversion you're going to use. When you are perhaps a business person, no matter what type of business it is, it does not matter if it's entertainment, if it's corporate, if it's nonprofit, it does not matter if it's just whatever. If you have so much money tied up into your brand and in your image, you will do whatever it takes to protect that brand and that image. Now, the tricky thing about that is whether or not you are able to not panic. So that's the number one tip. Don't panic. When you panic, you make bad decisions. Bad decisions lead to other bad decisions, and so forth. And then you're constantly trying to either clean it up, or you're constantly trying to build upon that to either make it smooth out or make it sound better or what have you. There are many times people do this when there is a lot of money, when there's a lot of money, when there is so much that is at risk. People think that a diversion will work, when in essence the truth would have worked much better. It would have turned out much better, and really the truth usually works, well, a version of the truth. See, you don't have to give the complete truth. You never have to give the complete truth. When people say, oh, the truth always, no, you don't always have to give the complete truth. You can give a version of the truth and sell it and then smooth everything out. But when you create a diversion that includes a cover-up or a blatant lie, then you are always trying to either sell that lie, or you will be forced into that lie. And then when the truth actually comes out, that hit that you were trying to prevent on your brand or your image will happen anyway. Now, yes, you were able to stall it for a certain length of time, but it still happened. Now, how can you make a diversion work? The only way you can make a diversion work if part of the plan is the truth to come out, period. Okay, so say for instance you had this particular thing happen to your company or your brand, and your enemy was using some part of it to try to blackmail or try to tarnish your image. You have two choices. You can come out with the truth at the beginning, or you can create a diversion for however long it is to stall the truth from coming out in whatever format. Okay, now this does a couple things. It allows for people to buy into whatever your diversion is, no matter what people do to try to make them see, and it builds up a nice, what I call, padding. So when the truth finally comes in whatever form, then you have a nice padding to fall on. Does that make sense? So when the truth finally comes out after you have this huge diversion, when you fall, instead of falling down and hitting your head, you have a nice soft padding. You have a nice soft padding that basically prevents you from being destroyed. Okay? And that's important, because if you did this diversion in the first place to protect your brand, then when you fall, you need to make sure that the fall is nice, it's soft, and you can bounce right back. And it's not going to be something that's going to ruin your career. Many celebrities do diversions. They do diversions a lot. Many CEOs do diversions. Business people, period, do. Diversions were created just to protect the company, the brand, the image. Many people in PR do this. And it depends on the type of diversion, because I would not suggest myself someone to do an elaborate scheme to get people to not see what's actually going on, because the truth will always come out in some form, some way, somehow. Now, if you are in control of the situation when you have this huge diversion, then that's one thing. But when you are not, then you have to rely on others to do the work for you. And then if you're lucky, then you can somehow take control of it. But you still will have some fallout when the truth comes out. That's just the way it is. You're going to have some fallout when the truth comes out. But depending on how you spin the truth, totally dictates how much of a fall you're going to have. See, if you spin the truth with saying, well, I never actually said this, or I never actually said that, or we was just doing this, or we were just doing that, or it just appeared this way, it just appeared that way, I've never actually came out and said A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You all just saw one thing and took it there, and I never actually said anything against it, and these are the reasons why. That's not completely lying. And here's the thing. That's not completely lying. Some people may think it is, and some people may be offended and think that it's completely lying, but it's not. What it is spinning. And you keep spinning and spinning and spinning until you no longer have to, or you no longer can. And that's really what a diversion is. You're spinning the truth to look one way until you no longer have to spin, or hopefully it doesn't spin out of control and everything comes out a totally completely different way and takes everything that you ever worked for down with you, including the people that you used for that diversion. Okay? So when thinking of diversions, once again, it just depends on who, what, and how long would I ever say, how long of it, how long would it go, how long does it go on before, without me actually saying, yes, that's a good idea. And it really just depends on what it is and who is the person that we're really trying to protect, and then why. Are they worth it? Whatever they're protecting, is it worth it? Is it really worth the stress, the amount of time it takes to come up with this plan, the amount of time it takes to stay and keep up with this plan? And then when it's no longer necessary, what is it that you're going to do, and what is your final hurrah that make people believe in this diversion even if they didn't? And then what is the final thing that you're going to say to make people say, well, okay, we forgive that person, or I can see it this way? Your exit plan. I'm going to talk about exit plan in my next series, because you cannot have a solid plan without thinking of an exit strategy. And yes, your exit strategy can completely change depending on all the other things that are thrown at you throughout the entire process. But you have to have an exit strategy. You have to have an exit plan. Usually 99% of the times, people create one last hurrah. That is a signal that things are about to be exposed or about to come to an end. And when you're in PR or you're in any type of communication field, you can sense that, because they kind of go overboard when selling it. They do something completely out of the ordinary that they have been doing the entire time of this plan. When they completely do something different, that's when you know things are about to hit the fan. That's when things are about to be done, completed. See, I once thought the exit strategy would be just hints, and people would finally come out and say what have you. No, the exit strategy is usually fireworks. It's fireworks. It's the last thing that you would never expect to see. Is what is going to happen right before the truth comes out. And we're going to go over some examples, some really known examples in other videos of this. This is going to be a series of PR strategy. And we're starting with diversion, because diversion is the #1 tactic for public relations when dealing with crisis or crisis management, period. It's diversion. And it's not necessary, but it's used so much that people need to be able to see it when it happens. And if you're going into PR, you need to understand the different levels of diversion. You need to be able to comprehend it when you see it, and you need to be able to explain it to your clients, and you need to show how it can work and show the different scenarios of, okay, if you're going to do A, then this is what can happen along the way. If you're going to do B, this is what can happen along the way. C, not everything is going to go according to plan, because if you're dealing with other people or other tools or other components, period, something is going to change along the way. Something is going to change that was completely out of what you even considered. You have to have a plan within the plan, just in case. You have to. It's just the way it is. So we're going to focus on diversion for the next few days, and then we're going to list a couple of cases, some well-known cases, and then I'm going to move on to the next steps, and then I'm going to constantly show which case includes it all, because there are some that are known and there are some that aren't. There are some in business, politics, entertainment, but some are very clear, and some are still going on today. Today is March 4th, 2014. March 4th, 2014 is the first video that I am going in. March 4th, 2014 is the first of many videos in this series of public relations, and just how each tactic is used in dealing with business of multiple levels. Okay, so I hope you will enjoy this. You will learn from it, and stick with me, because we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time talking about the different cases that have used multiple tactics that I'm going to discuss. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.